Okay, so I've actually stitched it down all the way to the end, so now we only have one little row left. This would be the time when you would pick up your ball of imaginary yarn, of course, if you were putting something in between, and lay it down the channel again. So you would just keep switching that yarn back and forth and weaving it as you do the stitches. So you would put it down, lock it in, lay it down again, lock it in, and that's how it worked that way. Some people do. I saw in a video once this lady put in a one yarn string to the um, pull the bottom out as it goes along. She called it an anchor string or something like that. You can do that too. This will start coming out no matter what. Once you start pushing the stitches through, you'll see your product come out pretty soon. So I'm going to show you how quick you can start to get showing product by pausing this, and then I will show you in a few minutes what I can do. So hold on. Okay, I've done, I think, 2 courses more, maybe 3. I wasn't really paying attention. But as you can see, I've got a little bit of a tail coming out already. It works really fast. It's insanely fast. And once you really get into the rhythm of doing it, you'll be amazed at how much you can churn out in just a short period of time. Another cool thing that's about it is that happens is when you finish one side with your crochet hook, usually the second side is so loosened that you can just use your finger to kind of zip to the edge, and then you just wind it all up again and just keep doing it, and keep laying in your special yarn too if you're doing that. Also, there is going to be one pin that's not going to have the double on there at the end, but that's normal. So just keep doing it, keep winding it, and I guess at some point I'll have to show you how to cast off. But since I just started this project, I'll have to wait until I'm ready to do that. The size of your panel is of course going to be relying on how much yardage your ball of yarn has on it. And these ones are particularly small. They're only like 47 yards, so I'm probably going to chew this one up really fast. But you can get some with lots of yardage, and you can get big old panels like these ones here. And as you can see, I just got cool colors and put them, and I just knitted them together. When I got close to the end, I tied the new one to the old one, and then just wound it in with and just kept on going. And just to put each panel together, I crocheted them together with this. You see, I don't know if you can see, there's a light green stripe between these 2 panels, and I just did 2 or 3 courses of crocheting to bind them together, and then I did a tiny little border or all around the edge to tie it together. This is huge. This would cover probably a twin bed. It's pretty big. So you're not limited to just doing panels. You can do scarves, you can do hats, depending on the shape of your loom. On this one, I'm a little limited because I have a peg configuration that's a little bit different. But there are tricks too that you can find on YouTube to do different stitches, to make reduce your stitches so you can change the size of something. You can actually make panels for clothing, sleeves, and whatever, and make a whole sweater on one of these things if you do it right. There's also a way to do it one-sided. I'm just going to kind of show you. And instead of twisting it back and forth, you would just twirl it around each peg. I'm having a hard time doing it. And do 2 rows of that, and then pull the bottom one over the top. And you can just do that all the way around. You start here, go all the way down, jump across to the here, and then go all the way down here. And then you would stop here, flip over your first thing, and then go back the other way. This would double the length of what comes out of here, but also reduce the thickness quite a bit. So those are some tips, and I enjoy my Dassenplank. Maybe you can have your husband make one for you. I will put up the measurements as soon as I find something to measure it with. I'll put it on this post. And there are 75 pegs in here, so if he's willing to drill 75 holes that are nice and set apart, and you're willing to go to Michael's and get these little things and make each little peg and stain them and sand it smooth, they're wonderful to have. They really are. It's just the perfect thing to do while you're just vegging on the sofa, watching TV. You can just shut your brain off, and next thing you know, you're making cool knitted stuff. So I'm not a knitter. I don't do needle knitting very much. My sister did teach me, but I don't do it. This is definitely more my style. I'm the corner cutter. I have been with costuming and everything, so I'm unapologetic about it, but it's perfect for someone who wants to get into crafts. It's also really great to teach kids how to use it. In fact, my first encounter with the Dassenplank, I think I told this on my first post, was in 5th grade. I had a teacher named Mrs. Wendy Pamai, who is probably the most influential person in my life. And we would do ski trips. Her class would do ski trips every year. And part of that ski trip was we would make our own hats. So she had the round loom, which was basically a big thick piece of cardboard with pegs in it all the way around. And we would make our hats, and then we would cast off with an extra string, and then pull that tight and at the top, and gather up the top, and then add a pom pom. Anyway, so I hope this clarifies a little bit what a Dassenplank is all about. And if you have any questions, just comment. And thank you for following and reading my blog. Okay, before I finish up with everything, I realized maybe I should show you the plastic ones that I got at the craft store. They are available at a lot of different craft stores besides Michael's, but I keep saying Michael's because that's usually the default one that I go to. They come in a package of 4. These are just the round ones. And as you can see, they're pretty big pegs. They're nice and tall, so you can use some pretty bulky threads on them. And they have a neat little anchor peg right here where you can tie your string so you don't have to worry about doing the loop. So you can just keep going around and around and around and have a big spiral that comes out at the bottom, and then you'll have a tube, and you can gather the bottom of that tube, and boom, you've got a hat. This is about the same size as the ones we used at school, maybe maybe a little smaller. Maybe this one would be good for a hat. It depends on how tightly you also tie your loops. And if you wanted to do a flat panel, it would only be, it wouldn't be double-sided like the ones that we do on mine. It would be the same concept as I described, is going around by just looping next pegs and next pegs, and then you would just start at one point and end at another. So you start at the anchor here. Let's say you loop that around here, and you would just loop here. And make sure that your thread crosses over on the inside of the circle, because that's where you want the product to come out. If you had it loop crossing over on the outside, that's where you'd have a problem. So just make sure you're looping towards the inside here. And you would go all the way around, like so. You would go all the way around, and then you would stop here, and then you would go back. And then you would flip them all, flip, and then you would do the same thing over and over again. It's a little harder to insert different yarns when you're doing a single stitch like this, but it's still really pretty useful. And I think that this is a good investment, so you can do flat panels and tubes on these. So that's just my suggestion. And with my Dassenplank, I can still do tubes. I would just do a single, jump, single, and just keep spiraling around using the same concept, and I would have a really big long tube. But if I wanted to do a smaller tube, I would just do this, then jump, and then go back, and just keep doing that. So I have a lot more flexibility here to do a tube of pretty much of any size, depending on how many pegs I use. So that's a quick summary. I just wanted to add that on. Thank you.